Yo guys, Chris here, Spring Gamer, and welcome back to more Star Trek Online. Last time on Star Trek Online we did missions Frozen, which is a really short mission as it happens. I completely forgot how short it was, and the episode didn't run too particularly long. But today, oh boy am I so excited for today. Today we're doing the mission Coliseum, and it is probably what I would consider one of the best missions in the entire game on all of the factions. Romulan, Klingon, Discovery Era, Federation, all of them. Coliseum is one of the best. And the reason why you'll see in a minute, but I love this mission. I'm really excited to do it. But before we get into it, because of the nature of this mission, having an energy weapon is not going to be prudent for basically almost the entire mission, or at least the first half. Reason being is that in the mission, you will be barred from using energy weapons of any kind for a good portion of it, and for that, I would just say stay with your standard setup. I'm still going to stick with my standard setup of a plasma sniper rifle and Tetrion high-density beam rifle. But there's also a different type of a weapon that we haven't gotten into quite yet that we'll get into in this particular mission. Also, don't worry about your bridge officers either. They will be almost little to no help to you at all because they won't be with you for more of the majority of the mission. All right. With that out of the way, let's get started on Coliseum.
My contacts tell me that Starfleet has rejected my request for military assistance. That is regrettable, but not unexpected. The Tal Shiar are formidable opponents, as are the forces directing their action. I understand why the Federation would hesitate to engage them directly. So today I appeal to you, not as an ally in battle, but as a person of compassion. My people need your help. I need your help. One of our ships was carrying a load of Thalaron weapons through the Nopata system. That ship has disappeared. There are no indications there was a battle. It's as if my ship and its cargo simply vanished. I know you have your reservations about the lengths to which I will go to secure the freedom of my people. Tell me, if you do not trust me with Thalaron weapons, do you want Hakiv to have them? I can provide you with the last coordinates of the vessel. Please help me. Do what you will with the weapons, if they survive. But find my people.
Star Trek Online is hit or miss with acting, more or less, but Obisek hits it right on the nail. I really like him and his voice actor. From this, we actually do get a really interesting piece of equipment here, the Riemann prototype covariance shield array. The thing about this shield array is that it also provides a vanity. It's also a vanity shield, and what that means is that basically it changes the look of your ship when you equip it. So it's pretty cool. But other than that, nothing really of noteworthy here. So go to the Nopata system. All right, begin Coliseum. Commander, I'm not reading any active vessels on the scanners, but there is, however, a debris field nearby. It's clustered around a satellite in orbit of the planet, but in the composition of the debris corresponds with ships that have gone missing in this region. I'll keep scanning, sir, but we need to take a closer look before I can determine if there are Thalaron weapons in one of the hulks. Alright, and there's also beta tachyon particles over there. I will ignore it for now, as per usual. Derek Holt, there's one over there. Scan ship. Commander, I'm not detecting a vessel that OPSEC sent us to find, but all the ships in this debris field show signs of being affected by the same thing. A high-frequency energy beam that overloaded all their systems. If the Riemann ship was hit by that beam, it might have crashed into the planet's surface or gone adrift somewhere else in the system. I'm detecting energy readings from the satellite, sir. If the Riemann crew detected them as well, they could have tried to use it to record a distress signal. We need to be close before I can attempt to uplink with the satellite's communication array. And it's held us in position, so we need to scan it real quick. Commander, we're stuck. This beam's holding us like a fly in a spider's web. We managed to keep the life support and environmental systems active, but almost everything else is offline. Shields, weapons, engines, nothing works. I'm not detecting life signs on the satellite, sir, but there is a compartment with life support. The systems operating the beam must be automated. The chief says we have enough power in the backups for one transport. I recommend we send a team over to the satellite to find a way to turn the beam off. Alright, so we need to beam to the satellite. Again, don't worry about any loadouts. You don't need them. Captain, the consoles here appear to have a control of the beam that is draining power from this Clio. But there is a security log preventing access. We need to find a usable console. I know I said before that this is basically my favorite mission in the entire game, but this particular part, locked online, okay. This particular part is, no. This particular part is a little bit, how to say, annoying. So when you check consoles, it's going to say something, like engaged in another operation. Basically every console in this entire building, or this entire satellite, except this one, is preoccupied. Cargo bay console. This console appears to be locked like the others. Whoever did this must have thought that the console used for inventory control was important. I think I can access the back door for the rest of the satellite's programs from here. I see the problem. The Romulus consoles are causing a lockout before the satellite's primary processor to run through a series of equations and removing key bits of information from the answers, which causes the processors to lock up. If we can solve these equations and input the correct information directly into the consoles, the security lock in the satellite controls should be released. I've downloaded corrupted equations in the console for you to work on. Okay. You wanted algebra? What? No, you didn't want algebra? Oh, well, I'm sorry. But the game requires you to figure out all these problems before you can continue on the mission. And basically, you don't want to do all this out by hand, because why would you? It's math. So what I would suggest you do is pull out your phone or a calculator or whatever and do these one by one. So basically how it works is that like you said, the processors are running through a series of equations. However, key bits have been removed from the answers as indicated by the red letters. You need to calculate the problems and factor in whatever digit is the missing number in the answer. So if I do 1268 plus 3211, I get 4,479. The missing number is 7, so I need to click on this, cycle it and left or right until I get to the 7 and lock in the position, and boom, answer completed. You need to do this for several more screens, and they get more complicated and annoying the further you go on. I know I just said this is basically my favorite mission, one of the best missions in the game. This is not exactly one of the best parts about it, but it is kind of a low point, but it gets better from here, trust me. Just survive this with me for once. Anyway, I'll cut back away to when I've figured out these stupid math problems. Ugh, algebra. Ugh.
One eternity later.
Alright, there we go. Captain, we solved the equations that were causing the issues in the other consoles. Now we need to plug these correct values in the console controlling the security lock, and we should be able to access all the satellite's major operations. Finally, so now that is over. Alright, so the satellite controls consoles. Well, while we're still up here on the second floor, can't get to there, shoot. While we're here on the second floor, there is actually a console up here, just beyond this mess of crates and whatnot. In here, target override console. Input the number, and it does it for you. Yay! Right, so over here, this console. Captain, this console controls satellite's targeting functions. I'm not sure if there's a way to disable it or whatever it is disabling systems on our ship, but if we can get the satellite to target something else, we may have a chance of prying our ship free. Okay, access long-range sensors. So this bit one is just simple. Just for this one, you just want to do it without extend the scan range to at maximum at 1,000 kilometers. It identifies the derelict Hulk as a new object. Reclassify derelict Hulk as active. Examine targets. Doesn't matter because that's just jargon that you don't need. Designate derelict Hulk as priority target. Commander, the ship's satellite is considered as a piece of debris near the ship. Its stronghold on us is weaker, but we're not out of the woods yet. Critical systems are stable. We don't have weapons or long-range communications. Okay, so we're not done quite yet, but there's down on the first floor is another console that we can use, and it's the one that's controlling basically the power generator to this whole thing. We can shut that down by going around here to this console over here on the side of the thing over here. I'm starting to sound like Chugga right now. Alright, so power generator console. This console looks like it controls the satellite's power supply. Since we're able to pry our ship free by targeting something else, perhaps we can decrease the power of the satellite's weapon, then the Clio may be able to break free. So we want to set the save mode to economical. How nice. Even aliens know the importance of saving energy or whatnot. Commander, we found that the fleet does not attempt to move or fire the satellite, that it will engage the low-power version of the beam affecting us. It's almost like an energy-saving mode. We can use it to our advantage, or at least we won't have to worry about life support. We'll hold the ship stable and work on boosting power to critical systems while you try to disrupt the satellite's functions to free us. Alright, so yeah, I find it kind of funny how even aliens have a power save mode called economical. I love it. And the last console is here. Console controls the satellite's general operations captain. We managed to minimize the power up of the satellite. I think we keep at it, we can switch the satellite's control over to a sleep mode that will shut down everything but life support and power. Operational state off. We just turned it off. As Captain, the system's coming back line all over the ship. We have weapons, shields, even the replicators are working again. Transporters are standing by, sir. We can beam you back as soon as you're ready. This is not our ship. Now what?
If you fail to comply with command,
Now we fight, or we die.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
Make sure you
Either you fight or you die.
All of your gear is deactivated, and I won't protect you in there.
Okay, so over here are some melee weapons. We actually get into melee weapons for once. We have a choice between the Batleth, a Lurpa, and a sword. I'll take a Lurpa.
Remember to equip your new weapon.
Yes, I get that, you Bremen. Alright. Melee weapons. H to holster. And into the arena.
commencing test 1. Nopadin Desert Akari entering testing area.
Alright, so these lovely creatures. So this is what I meant by when your weapons are no use to you in this mission. It's because we have to use melee weapons to defeat these enemies. And I'm going to start this off by just using normal controls. But now I'll switch over, press B, and this will make things a lot easier on you. Press B to enter shooter mode. And that will change your control scheme from using the keys on the keyboard to use attacks to using your mouse buttons on your mouse, and that makes it so much easier. And you also won't get locked into to a single target like you would normally. So you can just basically attack all you want, and you won't have to worry about anything. But we have to target this Mugato. Not exactly particularly difficult little thing. Well, it's actually not quite little, it's actually quite large.
Prisoner 1478, remain in the area for interrogation. Prisoner, return to holding area. Failure to comply will result in punishment.
So now they're telling us to go back into a prison. Prison doesn't Western Siberia. I love talking in accents. It's so much fun. You never realize how fun talking in accents can be until you've actually done it. No matter what it is. It's like you have a multiple personality. Now I just need to wait.
What do you want? My name is Slamek. I am part of a resistance. Perhaps you have heard of it? About a week ago, I was part of a crew ferrying weapons from one base to another. When we passed through this system, a satellite disabled our ship. It drifted into the planet's atmosphere. I activated the emergency transporter, and a few of us were able to transport to safety before the ship crashed in the desert. We were looking for shelter and a way to contact our people when a group of soldiers found us. They took us here and kept throwing us into the arena. Now I'm the only one remaining. That is all I know. We were transporting a shipment of Thaleron weapons. I know that your people will not use them. We do not want to, but our fight is getting desperate. We needed to do something, anything that would shift the tide of war, even if that choice was horrific. I jettisoned our cargo as we were entering the atmosphere. The weapons were completely destroyed. I've seen what Thaleron weapons are capable of firsthand. I could not allow them to contaminate a world not involved in my people's fight. I don't know who was responsible for this place. The trainers and the guards all appear to be mercenaries, without any clue about what's going on. They're paid to keep us in cages and look the other way. The night I was brought in, I was interrogated. There were bright lights in my eyes and a synthetic voice asking me questions. Whoever it was took care to conceal his identity. No, I have been questioned by these people several times before. My reluctance to answer their questions earned me this shock collar. Refusal to help them now is quite painful. Interestingly enough, this was the first time I've been questioned about another participant in the arena. They asked how you treated me, and if you had said anything about why you were here. They even wanted to know if I thought we could become friends. Someone thinks you are very important. I have no idea what they want with us, or why they make us fight. This all seems like some sort of giant game, but there is no one in the stands to be entertained. I think there are others. I hear other fights. If there are other prisoners, I have never been able to contact them. We are kept separated and caged unless we are fighting. I do not wish to continue talking with you. Now I recall. You were working on all those errands when we were attacked. I managed to escape on the shuttle, and some of us signed on with the freighter. As you can see, things didn't work out so well after that. We were transporting a shipment of Thaleron weapons. I don't know who was responsible for this place. The trainer... I have no idea what they want with us, or why they make us fight. I've had several partners in my battles. I think there are others. The trainers carry key cards. That's the only way I know to get through the defenses. Can I trust you? I can see that we think the same way, friend. A few years ago, I worked as a bodyguard for a Ferengi merchant. He had a talent for acquiring latinum. And during my time with him, I learned a few things. I was able to lift a key card from one of the trainers during my interrogation. If you help me, I think we can overpower the guards and escape through the main door in the arena.
Alright, so back into the arena. I'm just going to switch back over to shooter mode. Shooter mode is actually very helpful when it comes to fight with a melee weapon. You don't want to ever do it with basic MMO controls. You just don't want to do it like that. Especially now when we're dealing with...
Test scenario 4 activated. A Hala release.
Yes, Nopod Nahala. These things can do quite a number on you if they can.
We need more help! I'll try to free the other prisoners. You fight the worms!
So the worms can deal a pretty number on you for one reason mostly, is that they can cause toxic damage on you. And I'm not quite close enough, I don't think. Because they can cause their toxic spit can cause a poison debuff on you. And it will most certainly eat through your health and kill you very quickly. They also can get into the ground, and then this thing will pop out.
Use the consoles on the sides of the arena to fight the Elder Worm.
That thing will pop out. Then you need to use the turrets on the balconies up here to shoot at the mother worm, or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Elder Ahala. It will do some damage to it, and then once that cycle is over, oh geez, The smaller hollow will start popping out again, and you need to defeat them. Not all of them, as you saw before, but you need to just defeat them, and then the Elder Worm will come out again. No, come on. There we go. Oh, come on. Stop dodging. As a side note, the hollow are able to ignore your shields, and then go straight down, with their physical attacks, and go straight to you, especially with their talking spit. So, okay. So I'm poisoned right now, which means, and you can tell from a glance if you're moving really slowly. That means you've been, I guess, bitten. I guess you could say. This can go away real quick. There we go. Come on. There we go. Those glowing herbs that are kind of placed in various places around here. That is something you can use. Something you can use to heal yourself if you need be. I don't think I remember correctly if they are able to respawn. Jeez, the Elder Worm is knocking me down. I don't know if they can respawn, so I would say be conservative about them, because if they go down, if they do not actually respawn, I don't remember if they actually do. That means you're kind of SOL in terms of being able to heal yourself, because nothing else works.
Use them while the worm is distracted.
So now that all the hollow worms are...
I've been hit! I can't continue, my friend. You'll need to protect me.
Alright, so Slamek is down. Wonderful. And I am taking hits like nuts. Need one of these. And Slamek looks perfectly fine, apparently. Regenerative spores. Come on, pick up the regenerative spores. Nope. That is one issue with this mission that I do think needs to be fixed, is that when you go to pick up the regenerative spores, because you keep getting hit with let's see here. Oh, free the rest of prisoners. I was like, what's going on? Like, what's going on here? So free the rest of the prisoners over here. And the console's just sitting right here, of course. Right, now that we've freed the rest of the prisoners, jeez, that worm. Need to head over to the other side by the main door, and that's where the last of the what's it called? Turrets are. So now we can get those to attack the hollow worm, and then once that happens,
the worm destroyed the metal wall. Run! That's
the worm will basically fall on the wall, and shooter mode. It will fall on the wall and break it, which is kind of funny, I could say. But if we head into here, some strange stuff.
Romulan base? Here? What did they want with us? And what is that device?
Access gateway console. It appears as if whoever created this laboratory has rigged the controls to an Iconian gateway. You may be able to pull some information out of the logs. So our master's patience wears thin, Hakiv. Time grows short, and you still do not provide all the species data that they require. Are you having trouble acquiring targets? I provide you with the necessary technology to modify the satellite and the pod system, but your little snare is slow. What we need is more test subjects. Perhaps a small colony would be enough. I will contact you again to work out the details. Access the last 5 destinations. Nopata Base Delta, Iardo Leave Hall, Brea 3, Dara 4, Hefar Listening Post Gamma. So we can't go through the gateway, unfortunately. But we need to disable the dampening field. Now we need to have some real weapons. I've disabled my shot collars. Get out of here. There's this little sewage pipe back here that we can use to get out of here. So we need to go through the sewers just to get out.
Watch out. There are Romulan Scorpion fighters overhead. They're looking for us. We need to move quickly and smartly to avoid detection. I recommend we head to the east. See that mountain in the distance? My ship crashed on the other side. It may have something we can use to signal your vessel. The search for us will only get more intense the longer we stay here. We need to get away from the arena as quickly as possible.
Alright, so as he says, there are Romulan and Scorpion fighters passing by overhead. So we need to be able not to get detected by them, which is actually fairly easy, believe it or not. We'll just keep heading down so that
There's a fighter heading straight for us. Quick, take cover in those dark rocks over there and wait for it to pass. Stay still and wait for that fighter to pass overhead. If we are fortunate, they won't detect us. They didn't see us. Let's move on. I can't go on. My injuries from the arena are too painful. We need to find a place to rest for a moment.
Alright, so Slamek is badly hurt, unfortunately. So head over to this little hill over here. Obviously where the marker is telling you to go, of course. And then this part...
Forgive me, my friend, but the pain... I need to rest, just for a moment. My wounds are agonizing. I fear the worm's venom may have infected me. The pain is excruciating. My vision is blurred, and my blood burns in my veins. Before we were captured, my science officer said that the local plants here have medicinal qualities. Please, I need your help. Find something to ease my suffering. I need something to disinfect my wound, something to treat my fever, and anything that will ease my pain. Thank you, my friend. I know that I would have died today if it weren't for you.
Slamek is again injured, which means we need to find disinfectant, an antipyretic, and an analgesic. So several plants, and they're not exactly marked on here, but I do know their general locations. Several plants are glowing. Scanning them will give you some information. So this plant has analgesic qualities. It won't be as strong as anything you have in the med bay on the Silo or Cleo, but it will take the edge off Slamek's pain. It might be enough to get him on his feet again. This type of plant grows in the shade. Look for it on the sides of hills and cliffs. This other plant up here is also glowing. This plant looks like it works as an antipyretic. It should help alleviate Slamek's fever. Unfortunately, this particular plant does not look healthy, and you aren't getting much sap from it. You will need to find a more robust sample of this plant before you can treat Slamek's injuries. This type of plant likes sunny and windy growing conditions, looking for the tops of hills and mountains. I think on the other side of the hill here is the other plant that we need to scan. Maybe. Where is it again? Ah, there it is. This little herb growing here. This plant looks like it would work as a disinfectant, as it's astringent enough to clear out any possible infection Slamek might have contracted from the worm's attack. But you think it would need more than one sample from this type of plant to deal with an injury as severe as Slamek's. This type of plant grows in the washes of the desert, looking for large flat areas. Alright, so the map is marked, or the game is marked several locations on the map. I love the name of the mission, the section, Marooned. We're close to the ones in the hills and the washes, so we'll take those first. But you just need to gather the these herbs and whatnot, and give them to Slamek. It's very simple. To be honest, it's nothing too spectacular. But you might be wondering, like, Chris, you said this is basically one of the best missions in the game, and it's almost basically a collectathon. Well, that is, I would imagine, a more subjective way of looking at it. The reason why I love this mission so much is that it's kind of a love letter to people, to old school Star Trek lovers, so like the original series. It's a shame that the music doesn't quite work anymore, but in the Coliseum, I actually couldn't hear it very well either way because I have the volume turned down, but in the Coliseum there was some music. When the first mission was first introduced, there was some music that would play, and it was very reminiscent of old school Star Trek, like 1960s, original series Star Trek. And that's what I really loved about it. I haven't watched a whole lot of the original series, but what little I have watched, I have enjoyed. and that was kind of a love letter to it. And it was really cool. It also is a pretty good way to introduce you to melee weapons, which is something you don't use too often, but can be a big help in defeating certain enemies, of which we'll be seeing a lot later. A particularly famous one that sounds like it's Swedish, if you get my drift. But part of the reason why I do love this mission is not only that, but like the atmosphere out here in the Nepadan desert reminds me of back in Utah. I haven't talked about it much on the channel very often, but I'm a native of Ogden, Utah, just about 50 miles north of Salt Lake City, and the Ogden marshlands, or just the Ogden desert, is not really much like this, but it's more flat than it is hilly, because that's just because the Salt Lake Valley in essence is just a dried up lake bed of an ancient lake that used to span most of what is Western America. So even from that, it's mostly flat because that's what it was. But this desert just reminds me of that so much, and it kind of feels like home to me. I know I'm seeming kind of like sappy about this, but the Nepadan desert feels like home to me. And because even when you add in the thing about being a love letter to,
Thank you, my friend. I'm feeling better now. I think I can continue.
all right, so now we had Canyon, but yeah, it's kind of a love letter, but it's also kind of memorable for me as well. So that's kind of the reason why I like it. Even still, there are some kind of earth-like plants growing out here, like cactuses and whatnot. You know, prickly pear and whatnot, stuff like that. I like that, which is kind of cute. It's not exactly as creative as it could be, to be honest. But even still, I quite like it. As for here,
Now that we're in the canyon, we shouldn't have to worry about the fighters anymore. Just the local wildlife. Keep your eyes open.
so what he's saying is that there's some local wildlife that we would have to deal with here. I mostly did this mission on my main account, so I have some better weapons here, but we'll be fine. You would have to be the worst player in the world to be able to die from these feral aliens that roam around these parts in this canyon, like Shelots. It's not exactly particularly difficult. They don't have any shields, obviously, because they are aliens. But they can still do a number on you if you are not careful. But again, you would have to be the worst player in the world in order to die from them. And Slamek, even still, is an NPC that fights with you. Even still, is not able to go down from them. Well, he's able to go down if you try hard enough, but oftentimes he'll defeat the enemies with you before you have a chance to get them down. So, I don't know. Also, one thing that I do not like about this particular mission is that the plants just pop into view. I'm not sure what's about that, because it's inconsistent with the rest of the game. Like, the rest of the game doesn't do that, but this one does. I'm not sure what's up with that. It might just be how the plants are designed and how they are rendered. It's just weird. There we go. Now it's targeting me. How nice. Well, look at that moon, by the way. Like, the moon is also one of the coolest things in this map. It's just like that moon looks really cool. It's kind of skyboxy, but it looks really cool nonetheless. It's also very close. Like, very, very close. Almost as if it's like a big harvest moon on Earth. So we're approaching the next checkpoint, or not really checkpoint, just like marker, whatever you want to call it.
The weather isn't going to hold out for too much longer. We should look for a place to spend the night. I've noticed that there are things we can gather along the way to make our night more pleasant. The search patrols are moving on. We will not survive a night in this desert. We need to find shelter and safety. If we can scavenge provisions to create a camp, we'll have a better chance of reaching the wreckage of my ship alive. The temperature is dropping. If we don't find warmth, we risk hypothermia. We can't use a phaser on the rocks here to heat them. They're too porous. We will need firewood. Look to the dry plants. If we can collect tinder, kindling, and logs, we will be able to create a fire that will last through the night.
Alright, so we need some stuff to make a camp, and they are further up into the canyon. finding logs in a desert, as such as this, would be pretty difficult, I would imagine. But again, the game, it marks it for you, which is nice, albeit linear. So, oh, that plant over there looks like the thing we need. Keep your weapon out, though, by the way, because you will be encountering aliens while doing this particular part of the mission. Move this down. So we have some kindling. So we need some fuel wood and tinder. Not the tinder that you would use to find a date. The tinder you use to make a fire. Which I guess is the same way of finding a date. The fire in your heart is kind of, I don't know, ignited. You're already into that kind of thing. I'm not really. I don't know if that's the Aspie in me talking, but yeah, I know. Yeah, let's just find that stupid Tinder and not mention that I ever said that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't get why people use Tinder. It's strange. It's like when gay people use Grindr.
That should last us through the night. Let's get into this cave before the temperature drops.
We also can accolade feeling friendships. You'll see what happens to that friendship in a few minutes, I'm pretty sure. Also, I'll probably obvious already, but I'm probably gonna do a little bit of cutting from this point onward because I'm running out of things to talk about, and it's just the Potted Desert is surprisingly expansive for a game of this kind, even though maps can get egregiously large. But the cave's sitting right over here, which is interesting because it has all this foliage growing around it, which is nice. It's kind of white though, which is probably a mesh issue. I won't say I'm kind of an expert on any of this, but sure.
The temperature is dropping rapidly now. This cave should protect us from the elements. I've done some exploring. It looks like this cave continues when the sun rises side of the mountain. We could save time and energy by using the passage instead of trying to find a path over the mountain. Excellent. The passage saved us hours. This could be a good day. Let's find my ship. My ship isn't far from here. I think I can make out smoke from the wreckage on the horizon.
Especially cool and during the day, and if you give me a quick...
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, so as it happens, I'm not sure exactly why, but the game decided to reset all of the graphics settings completely. And I'm not exactly sure exactly why it did that.
There she is. She wasn't much to look at, but she was ours. And when we were flying through space, we were free. Perhaps she can help us one last time.
Yeah, I don't know why the game decided to reset all the graphics settings. Like, my system is perfectly capable of handling this game at way higher FPSs, despite its relatively low specs. It's mid-range at the very least. But why it decided to reset all the graphics settings, I don't know why. That's probably the reason. That's basically the reason why everything was popping in 2 feet in front of us. I don't get it. It's weird. Games can be weird, stuff like that. I don't know.
We should check to see if the emergency beacon survived the crash. But in the likely event it didn't, we might be able to piece together some components to create a makeshift emergency beacon.
If we head in here, there's actually a beacon down here. There's no way this vessel will ever fly again. The damage done by the fall through the planet's atmosphere is severe. The emergency distress beacon wasn't vaporized in the crash. It's probably buried beneath under 30 meters of rock and sand like a scenery drive in the cargo bays. You do, however, find a backup generator with a minuscule amount of energy left. If you had the right components, you think you can construct a makeshift subspace beacon to contact your ship. You won't be able to do anything more than transmit a few pulses of your crew where you are, but should do the trick. Alright, so we need to find more things to construct stuff. I know this mission is a collectathon, but it's pretty and I like it. It's expansive and I like it that way. I don't know about you. This is one of my personal favorite missions, okay? Okay. It's like I'm just talking about this entire mission, about how much I love it, and how much I praise it, and it's basically just nothing but a collectathon. Right, there's a subspace distortion inverter right here. Around the corner, over there, I think it should be a communications array. And the communications, no, that was navigation beacon, okay. The communications array should be up here, as if indicated by the marker on the map. I know this game's very linear, okay? just heed me on this one, alright? And that looks very damaged, but it should work anyway. So heading back into the ship, we need to construct attach the emergency beacon to the power source. Also, interesting enough, it's probably obvious right now, if you touch the cactuses, they won't hurt you. Would have been a nice detail if they did, but whatever. Wait for rescue outside.
Did you think you could run from me? There is no place where I cannot find you. My spies are everywhere. Prisoner 1478, take your place. You did your job admirably. It is good to know at least one Riemann understands who is the master and who is the slave. The loss of the listening post was a minor setback. The Riemann's refuge in the Dera system has been destroyed. Dozens of subjects have been tested in my arena. When the Iconians return, they will find I have done all they have asked, and more. But you will not be there on that dreaded day. This tiresome game ends now. You could have been such a fascinating test subject, but this time, no. This time I think a more direct approach is best. Ready? Aim. No!
I apologize for Slamic's action. I had no idea there was a traitor in our midst. If his actions caused harm to you or your crew, forgive me. That was not my intent. However, your trip to the Nopata system was not in vain. Now you see. Now you know. Hakiv is a pawn of a greater power. The demons of air and darkness are here. You should report to your superiors. Tell them what you have seen here. Open their eyes to the dangers that lurk in the shadows.
Congratulations, Commander.
Okay. Commander 26, actually, we're not that far off from another ability. Yeah, just one more tier or whatever, and we get the Commander Space ability for Tactical Initiative. Okay. Still a little bit of a ways away from Starfleet Captain, but hey, that's fine. So anyway, the Vanity Shield. When I first got this Vanity Shield, it was basically the shield I had used for 2.5 years consecutively without changing it. And I'm not kidding about that. I used it literally for 2.5 years because it was the best thing I could get. And it's certainly better than anything you've got. Like, what we have right here is has the exact same maximum shield capacity. But okay, so it's not exactly better than what it was. I'm actually kind of exaggerating here a little bit. It's nothing better, but it makes your ship look cool at the very least, more or less. I could do without this color scheme, but we'll use it for a while. I don't know. I sort of like it. Not really, but we'll use it for a while, see how it looks. But anyway, I think I'll end things off here. So join me next time where we do the next mission. One of my other personal favorites, Cutting the Cord. Basically the finale of the Romulan Mystery story arc. And then we'll be getting started on, the episode after that, the Kardashian Struggle story arc. Because, yeah, this is also a pretty good, this Kardashian Struggle story arc is good. Not quite as good as Romulan Mystery in my opinion. But, no, it's okay. But anyway, we'll get started on that next time. So, see you guys later.